Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to BFL Reacts. We finished up the Owl House, and naturally, after finishing the show, we gotta rank the episodes. I tried to be a little fancy and make my own tier list with the title card from each episode on there, but it shrunk the pictures down. I had to get all the way up the screen to try and read them, and some of the words were cut off. So I was like, forget that. We'll just use one that's already made. It's just numbers instead of anything relating to the episode, but hey, if it works, it works. I have a little cheat sheet on my phone pulled up with the episode guide, so I know which episode is which. And real quick before we start, if you just found this, like through recommended or something, who knows what the YouTube algorithm is going to do with this video, I have reacted to every episode of The Owl House here on this channel. And it was my first reaction series, and just getting a blind reaction to every moment was such a fun time. So if you haven't peeped those videos, I would definitely recommend checking them out. Okay, obviously episode 1, this was A Lying Witch and a Warden. This was, our opening episode. It was decent. I was interested enough to keep watching the show, but if it hadn't gotten better, I probably still would have finished the show, but wouldn't have been super enthusiastic about it. Episode 2 was Witches Before Wizards. I actually think I'm gonna go through at the end and rank them like exactly. So this might end up being like at the top of decent, or maybe like a bottom great, because I really enjoyed this episode, and this one like really hooked me in. While episode 1 I was like, yeah, that's an interesting show. Episode 2 really sunk its teeth into me, or its owl talons, I guess you could say. Episode 3, I Was a Teenage Abomination. We got introduced to a bunch of characters that episode. We got to meet Gus, Willow, and Amity. Since we got to meet all those characters, and we got to meet Principal Bump and see Hexside, I feel like the episode really should have been better than it was for all that kind of stuff happening. But the episode still was really good. It was definitely better than episode 1. I'll put it at top of decent for now. Alright, episode 4, The Intruder. This one is huge, actually. This one was the episode that really made me start to fall in love with this show. I got hype when Luce did a light spell. I thought that Owl Beast Eda was super tight. This one might be phenomenal, to be honest. I want to put it in phenomenal for right now, but it might stay in phenomenal. I really love that episode. The Intruder was super tight. Episode 5, Convention. This was another really good one. We got to meet Lilith, who was an interesting character, I guess I'll say. I think that she's a bit divisive in the fandom, yes. Some people really hate her, and some people kind of forgive her for her past transgressions. I don't really love her or hate her. I kind of like her. I definitely like her more than I dislike her, especially in episode 11. I really liked her in that one. I also think that the title is a super great pun. And there was a lot of just fun, convention shenanigans. And we started to get a bit of that Luce Amity dynamic really here, with Amity kind of showing mercy on Luce at the end. And obviously we had the super badass Eda versus Lilith fight, with probably the best animated scene in the show. I think this one's going to go... It was better than episode 2, right? Yeah. I'll put that as a great episode. As I'm making this list, I'm really realizing that I think I think it's going to be really top heavy, man. I think I'm only thinking of a few that are going to be intolerable and not my cup of tea. Speaking of which, Hootie's Moving Hassle I felt was very mid. It was fun, but I don't know. I didn't really vibe with it all that much. It had its fun moments, and Magic Possessed Hootie was really fun to see. Definitely one of the worst episodes. And by the way, a bad episode of the Owl House is still a pretty good episode of television. So don't take any personal offense to any of these rankings. And after that one, we go into episode 7. You know what it is, baby. Out of the first 7 episodes, it was definitely the best. Lost in Language. We start our Lumity ship. I live for it. The library was a super cool environment for an adventure, and we got to meet Amity's twins as well. I actually almost teared up in my reaction to that episode when Amity calls Luce a bully. Dude, that hit my heart so hard. That scene was super well done. And then when Luce got Amity to laugh, I was all like, ah! And Amity was like, but she couldn't hold it. She couldn't help but laugh. I live for that. Great episode. I think this one might be kind of a hot take. I really liked... See, as I'm looking at this, I think episode 2 is decent. Right? I really loved Once Upon a Swap. I think that people don't like this episode because it's a body swap episode. But I thought that the willingness to get into the body swap was a nice change of pace. I enjoyed everyone's little miniature adventure. And I especially loved the resolution in this episode. Eda just forcefully body swapping everyone to solve their issue was insane. It was blowing my mind when that happened. I really love this episode. I think it might be great. Episode 9, Something Ventured, Someone Framed. Actually, this one's kind of hard for me. I liked this episode. I loved Luce being a badass in detention. And Luce in general, this episode, I loved her attitude a lot. She had the confetti and everything. But Bartholomew, that was his name, right? Something like that. The annoying human society kid. He just... I get you're supposed to dislike him, right? That's the point of his character. I think they did too good of a job at it because I was just feeling pain every time he was on screen. But we also got Eda being really respectful of Luce and cleaning up the school. And Luce got into school that episode. I think it was better than episode 1. I think it was also better than episode 3. I'm going to put this one in between 2 and 3. Episode 10 was Escape of the Palisman. I really liked the Bat Queen. Which I didn't mention in episode 4. I love the Bat Baby side plot. But the Bat Queen is super interesting to me. It's kind of wild that we never saw her again after episode 10, did we? I thought for sure she was going to come into play in the finale there. But I really liked her, and I really liked Luce doing all her chores and then kind of popping off on her. And then finding out that the Bat Queen was a palisman herself was pretty crazy. I also loved Gus in this episode. When he kept breaking out of the cocoon that Owl Queen was trapping him in. That was really good. I think it's better than everything I have in Decent right now. Sense and Insensitivity. Yeah, I had to check to make sure I was saying that right. I think that this was a pretty good episode. Man, I think that episode 1 might... I don't know where to put it, man. I'm losing my mind. I'm too indecisive to do a tier list. I should never do one of these again. I'll leave it there for now. We'll go through at the end and reorganize everything. But Sense and Insensitivity, I really liked this episode. It was very fillery, right? But the main plot of Luce and King kind of butting heads was really fun. And kind of sad. I kind of felt some of that Luce anger, and that was kind of the first time that we ever saw her really angry, right? And she tried to be the bigger person in that, but King was just out of control. And we also got Lilith and Eda. We got a good insight into their relationship in that episode, and that was fun. And then they roasted the hell out of that dude and then beat his ass. That was pretty good. Didn't I start off saying this episode was just okay, and then I'm ranking it the top half of episodes so far? I'm such an indecisive bitch. I do know that episode 12 was pretty great. We got to see Luz being a nervous wreck in front of Amity, and that was super cute. And we got to see Luz learning new magic, which was super awesome. And we had a lot of good moments with Amity's twins in that episode. They were cracking me up quite a bit. I think that is the best and great as of right now. I'm struggling right now, man. Okay, there we go. I put in the thumbnail for episode 13, the first day, best episode yet. And I thought it was at that point, and it might have been. I think it's definitely phenomenal for sure. It's definitely phenomenal, and I think it's better than episode 4. But is it better than episode 7? It might be. I think it was the best episode yet at that point. Sure, we had the start of Luz and Amity in episode 7. But 13, seeing her go to school and get her fire outfit and prove herself. And the side characters in that episode were awesome. I loved Barkus and the girl with like the fish hook in her ear, right? Or something like that. And the fight with the basilisk was also pretty cool. I think that was definitely the best episode yet at that point. Episode 14, I think it's the worst episode in the show. I think that they didn't do episode 14 any favors by putting it right after episode 13. I think that episode 14 is not that bad, really. Like, it's perfectly fine, but being right after episode 13 didn't do it any favors. I noticed 14 and 6 are both my lowest rated episodes. Maybe Tibbles just, like, kills any episode he's in. I don't know. Episode 15 was really good. We got to see, like, a lot of Amity's kind of character, really, for the first time there. I think it was honestly better than episode 13. I think that episode 15 was super fire. We kind of touched on some heavier topics. We got, Amity's background a bit about her parents. And her being nervous around Luz was really cool and fun and cute. And her burning Willow's memories and it just spreading was hilarious. I think that episode 15 is definitely the best episode at that point. Alright. I'm struggling. There we go. There's no episode 16 on this list? Oh. What? What? Oh. I'm changing the background color. Oh, it only changed that background. Episode 16's black, so it kind of disappeared. Episode 14, I thought I put that in shit tier, but I'll move it back up. Episode 16. Oh yeah, this was Grom. I think that the first half of the episode was just fine. But then that second half of the episode was so fire, dude. With their dance and then the love letter. Oh my god. And I love Lumity. I love Lumity so much. Don't worry, it was only intolerable as a placeholder while I thought. It's definitely phenomenal and better than episode 4. Honestly, I think I'm going to move episode 4 to best great episode. And while I just made episode 4 best great episode, episode 17 might be best great episode now. I don't think that there was enough there for it to be phenomenal. I think it just exceeded really well at what it did, which was being like a cheesy kind of love letter to, like teen movies, right? That's what it felt like to me. And it did a good job at that, but what really made this episode excel was obviously all the Lumity stuff. And right? It was awesome. Everyone was fangirling out when they saw that episode, if they were a fan of Lumity at the very least. Me included. I loved it. And the actual main plot of the sports fight was really fun too. I really enjoyed that action. But it did kind of put Amity out of commission. Yeah, since it took Amity out of commission for the rest of the season, I'll never forgive it for that. Now we get to the hard part, because episode 18 and 19 are so much different from everything else on the show. They're much more serious in tone. Episode 15... Wait, no. Episode 16 also had the letters to Luz's mom, which was like the first like big like, whoa, this is like pretty damn serious moment. And then 18 and 19 really compounded on that quite a bit. 18 really killed my heart when Eda said goodbye to Luce. Told her to take care of King. I thought that was really phenomenal. Oh, I wasn't even sure what tier I was going to put it on yet, whether great episode or phenomenal, but hell, my mind used the word phenomenal, so I guess we got to go up here. Was it better than Grom Night? I don't think so. In episode 19, the finale, I'm like, new to the fandom. I've recorded my reactions, and now I'm doing this. So I don't really know what a lot of the consensus is. I think that episode 19 could have been a lot better by not being episode 19. I think it should have been episodes 19 and 20. I think that they tried to cram way too much into that. The side characters were kind of just there, but didn't really do anything. Which, I mean, it's Luce's story at that point, right? So let her do her thing, but why even have them there if they're not going to do anything? And while Luce was really competent with her spells, right? They kind of just made her like a super badass that took down like a whole army. Which was fun in the moment, but after the episode ended and I thought about it a little bit, I kind of didn't like that. It just felt kind of cheap. Not that the episode was bad, it was just way too crammed. It should have been a 40-minute special, or just a 2-part episode. I did think that her getting hidden on Emperor Bellos was super tight, and I really loved Lilith defecting from the Emperor to help Luce out. That was really nice. And I love when Lilith took half of Eda's spell onto herself. I thought that was really awesome. Episode 19 is a great episode. I think it is better than Convention. And let me look at this list a little bit. Make sure it's how I actually feel. Honestly, I think that this is a pretty good tier list. Yeah. And that is my Owl House Season 1 episode tier list. I'm going to leave a link in the description to this tier list, and I want you guys to fill it out. And drop a link in the comment section to your tier list, or how does it work? I don't think you can actually link to your tier list, but I definitely want you guys to just write it out in the comments. Use the same tier ranking as me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I had 5 tiers. So just put your episodes into a 5-tier format. And I think that could be some really fun discourse in the comments. We can see what everyone's favorite and least favorite episodes are. So thank you guys so much for peeping my tier list video. It was pretty fun getting all my, thoughts out there after having sat on the show for a little bit. And I might do this for all the shows that I watch, but I don't really want to commit to anything. Maybe I'll do a character tier list. That might be kind of fun. There's a lot of minor characters that I don't really know anything about, though. But whatever. I'll consider doing that. That could be pretty fun. So thank you guys for checking this video out. Peace.